not think of a better guest to talk about Thursday night's matchup between the Packers and the Lions. Also, she loves Levante David. She loves the Buccaneers. And you love Logan Ryan and puppies.
I do. I love all of them. I have a rescue dog now, too, so it's wonderful.
I love that. And we have you here. You are doing your thing over at Fox Sports covering the NFC North. You really cover everything, but let's just really zero in. You're the perfect guest, truly. Prepare to get smart, everybody. Get a little smarter here on a Thursday. Big matchup, Lions-Packers. Hi.
I'm so glad to see you.
Good to see you. You dressed up for the occasion. I did not. Okay, Packers. Both teams are 2-1. They're both looking good. It's a battle for first place. I heard the thing that intrigues me most about this game is the youngsters, the young contributors. So if you look at the Lions, I mean, Gronk was talking about this tight end a lot.
Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
It just, plug in one Iowa tight end for the other. Because it clearly works. He's a combo tight end, but he's also just killing the game in receiving yards, and he's breaking all types of rookie records for tight ends, and he has it. I think Gronk said that too. He's just got it.
Do we have the full screen of the guys, the young contributors?
The young contributors.
Can we see them? There we go.
Yeah,
right.
look at that.
Pick a guy and let me know about it.
Brian Branch is just the Swiss Army knife that everybody thought he was going to be, which is amazing. And then you've got Jahmyr Gibbs, who I don't think we've seen unlock his full potential yet within this offense.
Go on, tell me about that.
Listen, Ben Johnson is an incredibly creative play caller, and we haven't seen that out of him, but also David Montgomery has been hurt. Guess what? They're getting David Montgomery back tonight. So now he can kind of handle those north-south run duties and be the lead back on this offense. And you can just use Jahmyr Gibbs in a whole lot of fun ways, and I think they're going to bring that out against the division rivals.
I was very excited about it in the preseason, and I haven't talked about it much on the show since then. And now Laporta's gaining steam, so this seems to be a primetime Gibbs game.
Yes, and I think it's going to be. I think that Ben Johnson has some tricks up his sleeve yet, and I think we're going to see them tonight.
I can't wait to see that. Now, and speaking of young contributors, cue the full screen. Packers! Who do you want to talk about here?
Oh, my God. All three of them is incredible. And what's even crazier is that Jaden Reed, the rookie, leads the team in receiving yards right now, even more than Romeo Doubs. But the team is getting Christian Watson back. He's that deep threat. He's really fast, go down the field, kind of that big play potential. You have Romeo Doubs to kind of clean up all the yards along with Jaden Reed. And then Luke Musgrave just leaking out and getting wide open all the time and going down the field, being able to catch these passes from Jordan Love. This team is growing up with their quarterback. And I think that's so fun.
It's huge. And it's probably a little less, not like a little less pressure, but it's nice because like everybody bears the same weight of responsibility as a team. I think that's a big deal. I think like Schneidman from Athletic talked about that a lot in the offseason.
It's interesting, too, because you look back to last year when Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson came in, and Aaron Rodgers didn't play the preseason. Jordan Love did. So the first NFL passes these guys are catching was from Jordan Love.
Yeah.
They have been connected since the jump, and Romeo Doubs worked out, and Christian Watson for that matter, both of them went to California to work out with Jordan Love this offseason, and you can see that rapport building, and this has been the Packers' MO forever.
People are down on Jordan Love, but he's got Christian Watson. Christian Watson making his debut tonight. I mean, like...
Who's down on Jordan Love?
I don't know, just like some of the numbers. Like
his completion percentage needs to get better, but I think that's where you're seeing him need to grow, and the fact that he doesn't have the relationship necessarily with these receivers in real time at NFL game speed yet. But I think that's going to go up. But he's incredibly efficient. I mean, I know they got down 17 points last game to the Saints.
They came back.
Look at that. Look at how they came back.
Derek Carr left the game and went to the hospital, but they came back.
Jordan Love.
It takes some poise.
Jordan Love has no panic. Yeah. And that's the most important part.
We love we love this in a quarterback.
Keel.
So me and Gronk have a parlay. It's four legs. It's great odds, though.
Wow.
It's no sweat. So it's a no sweat, but if you guys want to do this. He took the Lions money line. He thinks they're going to win this game. Who do you have? Because you're talking me into both of them. Who do you got tonight?
I'm talking myself into both of them. Are you kidding? I don't know. I mean, it's at home, it's in Lambeau, and that just adds a whole other level to this. We saw that last week against the Saints where, I mean, this crowd does not give up on this team regardless. So I just think it's going, and they have everything to play for, the Packers do. I guess I'm talking myself into the Packers. Because if you go back to that Week 18 game where the Lions knocked them out of the playoffs.
This is Carmen versus Hamilton.
I know.
Hamilton picked the other squad.
I know. I could see it go either way, though.
No, you pick the Packers.
I'm going to pick the Packers.
I'm
going to go against. You know what? Hamilton can't even be bothered to come on set when I'm here.
Hamilton?
So
are you there, Hammer?
I'm going to go against him too. Yeah.
Where's Hammer?
We're going to go. There he is.
He's catching all the heat today.
I'll take the Packers. Prime time, baby. Lambeau. There's nothing like Lambeau Field.
I mean, Hamilton used to work for the Lions, so he's got favoritism. He's not a
I
true
love the
journo.
Lions,
You're a
too.
Fox Sports journalist.com, and Hamilton is just pandering.
No, I do think, though, that the Packers this defense needs to start living up to its talent. And I think that we've started to see that. They came alive in that fourth quarter to kind of stop
100%.
The Saints from gaining any more yards. Granted, that was with Jameis Winston. But at the same time, I think that they're going to have a really good plan for the Lions.
I want to talk about something sad.
I know exactly where you're going with this, and we can talk about it.
I
we
mean,
have to talk about it.
Chicago hates me.
Chicago hates me too.
They hate me.
They hate me because I was being realistic. I didn't want to get people's hopes up.
But now everyone's being pretty quiet. Ooh, girl, everyone's being pretty quiet.
Where's my? I was right. Where's my credit right now?
Because we have faith. We want them to be good. We want,
do.
But you just don't see it coming together. So they're 0-3, and then there's drama. Peter King, the great Peter King, when he speaks, we listen. He went on 670 to score. Shout out to them. I'm sure they've said really nice things about me and the Bears in the past. And and he went and said that he doesn't think Ryan Poles is committed to Justin Fields forever. Now, I get it. Ryan Poles inherited Fields as a GM.
Yeah.
The talent is there. We know the talent is there. We know the upside is there. Do you think it's possible we actually see them move on from Fields?
I think it's the path of least resistance is for the Bears to move on from Justin Fields. And I think that this is something that Ryan Poles has been preparing for. So the Bears have never had alignment between their GM, their head coach, and their quarterback. I don't know the last time that happened. I don't think it's happened in my lifetime. And that matters because you have to get guys that your brass and your decision makers believe in. And I think that this year was kind of all right, we'll see if he can improve. We'll see if he can take command of this offense. We haven't seen that happen. There was a reason that Ryan Poles went and got that extra first-round pick when he traded down from the #1 overall pick to 9.
I like him.
It was, I think he was preparing for this exact scenario where even if the Bears improve and they finish somewhere middle of the pack, that they have the ammo to go up and get Caleb Williams, Drake May, whoever fits the system better. And I think that that's what we're going to end up seeing because even if you bring in a new offensive coordinator that maybe fits Fields' skill set, what, you're going to put him in his 3rd offense in his 4th season? It just doesn't seem like that's an easy task to do. I think the easiest thing for the Chicago Bears to do is after this season is to move on from Justin Fields and bring in a guy that makes more sense.
Path of least resistance. Go
Path of least resistance.
Okay, well, this week could be, listen, I of course, last week was like, the Bears could, come and win this game against the Chiefs.
I think everybody had that.
I had this, thing, and then, of course, I was like, no, once I saw T. Swift up there, I was like, nope, not happening. But listen, T. Swift is not going to the Broncos game.
No.
The Broncos, Vance Joseph can't get it together. He just can't. They're really not great.
No.
They just gave up 70 to the Dolphins. Yeah. What are you keeping your eye on in this game with the Bears?
It's got to be the trenches. Because at this point, the Bears pass rush.
We love a trench
We love it. If you know anything about me, I always look towards the offensive and defensive lines because I think everything starts and ends there. And the Bears pass rush has been completely anemic. And they haven't been able to affect opposing quarterbacks at all. And I think that's the only way to really get, Russell Wilson has seen everything. So you need to get creative against him. You need to try and confuse him. I would love to see more stunts, more just creativity and getting pressure from different places because you don't have the guys up front if you're the Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. And the only thing is, though, Matt Eberflus came out and he's now calling the defense now that their defensive coordinator is no longer there. He said that they're going to continue to rush 4 and try to get pressure that way. And I'm like, that works if you have the dudes. They don't have the dudes. I want to see safety blitzes. I want to see nickel corners coming in on trying to confuse opposing quarterbacks because that's what you need to do if you don't have the guys that can win outright up front. And that's not something that the Bears have. So unless they can get to Russell Wilson, I think that they're going to find themselves in a hole. And that's going to be hard to come out of. Low-key
a Sean Payton revenge game. He was a quarterback for these Chicago Bears once upon a time. He's an Illinois guy. We'll see what he can do because it's a wrap on the Broncos.
Desperation for both teams.
It truly is. We're so optimistic here on
I know,
the Adam Show with Carmen Vitali.
I'm just trying to be real.
So if my Bears go 0-for here and they lose to this hapless defense, which is crazy. I think Broncos defense, Pat Surtain, what do we do?
I know.
Is it a situation where I don't know enough about college football, but it's Caleb or bust, right? So do they put themselves in a position to pack it in?
You can't do that week 4 Week 5. This is way too early. And honestly, Matt Eberflus has said that he thinks the Bears are close. They can win some games and they're close. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I don't know that he has the buy-in of everybody in Chicagoland, but at the same time, you have to stay competitive as much as possible, and you have to be able to push for any sort of incremental improvement. And I don't think that you can't just outright tank. You don't see that in the NFL, especially this early in the season. Okay, we've got 13 more weeks.
Okay, but the worst thing, and I said this before the season started, I said, the worst thing that could happen is that if Chicago loses to Jordan Love, like that Aaron finally leaves, and you had that other joker before him for all those years, and then you have Aaron, and now like you have the talent, you have the kid who can do it all, and surround him, and then I'm sitting here going into week 4, and I do underreactions on the show on Wednesday, and Jordan Love's like great, like everyone needs to realize how great he is. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, like most of this without Christian Watson and David Bakhtiari and Aaron Jones. So it's becoming very apparent the Packers don't restart at quarterback; they reload, right? What do the Packers get right? This is like therapy at this point.
I know.
What do the Packers get right that the Bears just can't seem to figure out? Tell me.
Oh, no. Actually, I have an article coming out on Fox Sports today detailing exactly what the Packers do, and it's something that they've done since the days of Vince Lombardi. They've been operating this way since the 60s, and you look at Brett Favre in his 4th season, I believe, Sterling Sharp, Shannon Sharp's brother, suffers a career-ending neck injury. And then the next season, Brett Favre has to get it done with a rookie Antonio Freeman and Robert Brooks, who was a relative unknown at that point. Robert Brooks goes off that year. Antonio Freeman leads the league in receiving yards 2 years later. Favre ups his game, and the rest is history. And then you get to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had guys like Jordy Nelson, and he upped his game early on in his career. And then they tried to get Aaron Rodgers to do it again with Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson, but we all saw how that went last year. So now they were operating kind of as a different team. They were operating that was an exception last year, and that's why I think that the Packers wanted to get rid of Aaron Rodgers. Hot take. They weren't getting to run their system like they usually do, and so now you have the full buy-in of Matt LaFleur, which I think is so impressive because he came in with Aaron Rodgers having so much control, and now he's seeing the potential that this has when you have young receivers that can grow with your quarterback, and you also have a play caller in Matt LaFleur who is actively trying to help Jordan Love. He's got a great offensive line in front of him. He's got a backfield he can lean on. He's got a defense that he should be able to lean on. They have been doing this since the 60s. So this is something that the Packers have so much practice in, and it's not something they have changed since the Lombardi years, because apparently when you get to the Packers, you're given the speech, you're given the Lombardi way, and if it was good enough for Vince Lombardi, who are you to change it?
Get out of here.
I'm just...
Get the hell out
I
of
grew up
the
a Bears
studio.
fan too, Kay. Listen, I don't want to hear this.
Did any of that make me like? That doesn't make me feel any better. That was like an entire 3-minute soliloquy about how great the Packers are.
I know.
And then, you know what? Also, I'll say, I feel bad for any grief that I ever gave Jay Cutler when he was quarterback. All of this, we all hated him, and we all made the memes, and we thought he was so terrible, and his demeanor, and he was demonstrative. Best freaking quarterback we had. Yeah. We didn't know how good we had it when we had Jay Cutler throwing a Brandon Marshall out there. And Matt Forte doing his thing.
I know.
What were we? We all owe Jay Cutler of Inside the NFL wearing those fancy ass suits on that set on the CW.
We love you, Jay.
We love you, Jay. Jay, we're sorry. Jay, we are sorry for how we treated you, even though he stood me up on the show. And speaking of that,
that's right. I know
that seems to be a trend because I don't know. This is for a fact. Is Keenan curving me again?
What?
Okay, they're saying he's 2 minutes away.
Okay.
Keenan. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Vikings. Okay. By the way, Hamilton's texting me that we've ruined his credibility.
Ouch.
We're so sorry, Hamlin.
We're so sorry. Not sorry.
So here's the deal. Kirk coming off this hotsy-totsy offseason.
Yeah, I know.
I came back from Italy and I was like, why is Kirk Cousins everywhere? What world did I come back to? And he's killing it. Yeah, he's killing it. He's killing it on Netflix, the quarterback show. Obviously, that showed a different side of him. He's also killing it this year. His numbers are good. He looks all right. He's got Addison. He's got Justin. Why are they struggling? What's the story?
It's turnovers. That's what it is. I mean, you see them putting up so much offense. I think last week Justin Herbert and Kirk Cousins led the league in passing yards, in quarterback yards. And that game was only 28-24. No one wanted to win that game. I was in Minnesota for that game. It's the Vikings shooting themselves in the foot, which I can't think is going to keep up either. And I think that this defense is taking a little while to kind of get its sea legs. Brian Flores is running a drastically different system than the Vikings had last year. So I just think that it takes a little bit more time. It puts a lot on the players themselves to understand exactly what they're seeing and kind of know what the guy next to them is doing. Jordan Hicks and Harrison Smith are kind of leading the way on that. And I think that it will eventually kick back in.
Yeah.
But I think you're just seeing that the regression to the mean, that's what this means. The Vikings coming back, off of that 13-4 season.
But what if they lose to the 0-3 Panthers? And they go 0-4?
That's when alarm bells start going off.
Gronk is like, ship that Cousins out to the Jets. What do you think? That's your coworker over at Fox.
Yeah, Rob, listen. I don't think that that's the answer because Kirk Cousins, he has had some turnover issues early in the season, but again, I keep saying this, it can't keep up. And if it does, though, I think that diminishes his value. But I also think that the Vikings aren't in a position to that would be tanking. They can't tank this early. And I do think that they're getting tangibly better every week.